Hello, hello! 5 o'clock has come round already on this bright sunny Tuesday, and what the sun's just done to me, of course, is come out beautifully. I'm just going to shut the curtain, so bear with me for a moment. It's a shame to block it out, but try and keep the screen as clear as possible. Let's just catch myself on my Facebook page. Hope you're all well. Post Easter bank holiday didn't feel particularly different to me, I have to say. But it was still nice. Lots of gardening done at our end. Oh, just waiting for Facebook to catch up with me. Bear with, they'll be able to see who's about, who's coming along to see me playing with 2 wild rose. I have to admit I did have a double reason for the colours I picked. So we're using Pumpkin Pie, Night of Navy and Pear Pizzazz, because I've also got a challenge in a group I am in to create a card with those colours. So I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Come on, here we go. Just getting there. There we go. See if anyone's about. So say hi if you're watching, and then I will know you are there. Right, let's get going. So what you can see on the screen currently is the Stamparatus. So what the Stamparatus allows us to do is line stamps up easily, but I also think it's absolutely brilliant for beginner stampers. If you don't have a Stamparatus, you have to have a whole myriad of blocks and shapes and sizes, which, you know, can add up. I've got plenty of them, but that's fine because I do a lot of crafting. So this is a good way to get started. So you can use it. It comes with a foam mat for when you are using the photopolymer stamps as we are today, or you remove that foam mat if you are using cling stamps. So it also comes with the 2 magnets, and it comes with 2 plates. Obviously, because I do work with Stampin' Up, I do have a number of plates, but what I have done with one of the plates is I've shown you what you can do to really maximise. So hi, I can see 3 people watching, so I'm hi Jacqueline, hi Jenny, thanks for joining me. So if I show you the plates, so these are already set up. So what I'll do at the end, because this is all about lining it up correctly, I'm not going to mess up my afternoon's work. So no offence, I will show you at the end how we do this. So we have 3, oh, they've stuck together, 3 different layers for the flower within 2 a wild rose. And then there's also a set of leaves. So with any of these plates, as I say, 2 come with the Stamparatus, and the Stamparatus is £45, so you get the magnets and the plates, but you can use them double-sided. So you can see on that one, I've got leaves on one side and the flower on the other. So all will become abundantly clear as I start creating the card, but that's how we are working. So we're using the 2A Wild Rose stamp set. It does also come with dies, so I keep all my dies in the same box as the stamp set so that I know that everything is lined up and all together. So they're both in there. And then the colours that we're using are the three. So Pumpkin Pie, Night of Navy, Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to show you making 3 cards today and why using the Stamparatus is brilliant for that as well. So I have literally used 3 pieces of card in those same colours, and I have already pre-prepped. That's easy for me to say, isn't it? So I've got a Pear Pizzazz card base with a layer of the Night of Navy and Pumpkin Pie. I also did, going that way as well, a Night of Navy card with the Pumpkin Pie and the Pear Pizzazz DSP, and then this one is a Pumpkin Pie, and then so basically every card uses the same 3 colours. So this DSP is the DSP comes in a pack. You can either buy it as neutrals, brights, subtles or regals. So Pumpkin Pie is a regal colour, Pear Pizzazz a subtle, and Night of Navy a neutral. But if you wanted to do this at home, what you could do was pick one set of colours and have one set of the DSP. These are 40 sheets for £10.75, so great value. But also our A4 cardstock you can buy in a mixed pack. That probably doesn't show on the camera, but so you could just say, right, I'm going to use subtles and this is how I'm going to create it. So it's quite an easy set to kind of get going with and pick your colours. And then the other thing that I'm going to be using today is our detailed trio punch. So we're going to be using 2 of the corner punches there. So just to give you an idea what we're going to be doing, this is the base of the flower. In this one I've done it on the 1st generation, and this one I stamped it off and used the 2nd generation in the navy. This was my playing to get it lined up. And then you do kind of get a bit of a ghosty image as you're trying to get it right, but you do need to play on scrap paper to get it lined up. That was then one of the ideas that I had. Wasn't sure where to place the leaves, so what the final design is and what we're playing with today is we're going to create that image, and using the corner cutter and the little, whatever you call that in the corner, bottom corner, and then I've also sponged that. So we are going to run through, I'm going to create 3 cards from that same pattern. So what you'll notice on my Stamparatus is I've got little lines. So I have used exactly the same size of white base, and if I line up the paper every single time I stamp now, the stamps are going to come out in exactly the same place. Let me just clear some of my desk to get in a bit of a pickle with these. So with the Stamparatus, let's just move that slightly over. So those edges just clip in easily and then stamp. So just so that you can see, I'm going to use my Pumpkin Pie for the flower. Oh, hi Jenny, you're flagging a few people that are watching. So just inking that first outline flower up with the Stamparatus. And the great thing with the Stamparatus, I don't know if you can see, I've inked onto the base there. It doesn't come out on the card at all. So you get a really clean image, and that will be the same every single time. So this is the 2nd layer of stamp. So again, I'm just going to ink that up, and because I did the earlier job of lining it up, when I stamp down on that, the brilliance of the Stamparatus. But I didn't like this kind of solid, very solid first generation colour of using this infill stamp. So what I did, I'll show you here, I've got a scrap piece of paper I'm going to place over the flower and just stamp off that first set so that I get a lighter colour when I'm stamping that. So then that becomes much lighter in some of those areas because I've taken some of the colour off. So that's a real easy way to do that. Now, I'm not sure how you're probably all quite experienced stampers, as you know, Jenny. But if you were doing that with a block, getting that lined up would become a very frustrating experience. So then my leaves. So again, it's just turning that around and my leaves are already lined up. Now, I didn't want the leaves exactly where they were, so the easiest way to do that is to create a mask. So on a post-it note, just stamped an image, making sure that the image includes the sticky bit of the stamp, and then cut that out. Now when I stamp those leaves, they're actually going to be kind of, or appear to be, behind the card. So the leaves are going to go into pair. Pizzazz. So just ink that up. And say it was all lined up earlier, so just really easy to create that card. So I'm going to remove it from there now because there's an extra stamp that I want to put on. I will save my little thing, post-it note, for later. Once you have the post-it notes, store them in the box with the stamp set, and then you can keep reusing them. Oh, excuse me. And then the other thing with Into a Wild Rose is there's this kind of detailed stamp that puts the veins into your leaves. So this is the only time, I forgot my mask, that nearly went horribly wrong, that I need to line something up visually. So make sure your mask is there, otherwise you come up with a disaster. So I'm just visually lining up where that stamp is to stamp it over. Slightly wrong, but hey. The one thing with a handmade card is people that you send cards to aren't going to go, oh, that's not quite lined up, oh, not quite right. They're just going to absolutely love receiving your card. So I never worry about little errors of a slight misalignment. Did it again there. But don't worry about it, don't stress about it. Crafting's supposed to be enjoyable for everybody. Now I can take off my little masking thing, and then the greeting for this, I just wanted to create some cards saying hello friend. So I used the hello from Wells to a Wild Rose, but friend comes from Well Said. So just a little quirky angle, little hello. Hi Ali, hope you're well. Hope you had a good bank holiday too. And then hello friend. So just place those so they could go on anywhere you like. I like to have something at a slightly jaunty angle myself. And then this, the trio punch. So in one corner, you just place the corner of the card into the punch. Always stamp right in the middle. And then the other corner, this one just rounds that corner off. So again, just making sure that card is centered, and always press the middle of the stamp, because that's the way you're going to get the right design. Get rid of your bits of paper there. And the final thing, I'm going to put this one on this base. So I'm actually going to edge it in Night of Navy. So a sponge, just use a sponge, bit of colour, and then literally holding the sponge quite straight, I'm just popping that around the edges, and it just gives a little bit of an outline. And hopefully what you'll see, with any luck, so just pop that all the way around. This is why you have to remember to do your corner cutting before you do your sponging, otherwise you cut the corner off with your sponge. Not a biggie, because you can go back and do it, but easier if you do that. So just a little sponge, and then when you actually place that on the card, just makes it pop out a little bit more. So that's one that we've created. I'm just going to use a little bit of snail to stick that final layer on. You know, you obviously see that I created those initial layers earlier on today. Then when I've done them all, I'll have to, in fact I might submit all three for the challenge, and only one gets entered anyway. So just wanted to see with the different combinations of colour. I'm going to do the flower and the leaves and that all the same, but I just wanted to see what the different backgrounds, what difference the backgrounds make. That is easier for me to say than anything else. So back with the Stamparatus, and oh, I thought I'd lost something there. I normally lose something. I'm trying to get better at having everything to hand when I do a Facebook Live, so that I don't spend half of it looking for things. Thanks, Sybil. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yeah, it's a beautiful flower on to a wild rose. So what I can easily and quickly do is, once my flowers are set up, I can just recreate exactly the same again. So with the Stamparatus, generally set it up once, and then however many cards you want to make, you can just crack on and make those, knowing that every single time that's going to line up. And oh, sorry, hit me light there. Luckily you can't hear the crashing and the banging going on in the kitchen. Well, hopefully you can't. He's not up a ladder, so we're safe, but he's cooking dinner, which generally means there's going to be chaos in the kitchen. Carnage. So again, I want to stamp that image off, so I just want to get rid of that first generation, that really dark colouring, and just make that infill a little bit lighter. But obviously if your choice is to want to have a dark flower, then that is absolutely fine. So again, bringing my leaves back in, and again we know they're in exactly the same place because we've got the Stamparatus set up. So again, putting my mask over, let's put my pumpkin pie away, get my pear pizzazz out. I mean, I've gone conventional with my colours, haven't I, really? But you know, who says a leaf has to be green? I mean, the world's all crazy at the moment, so if you want to do a crazy colour of leaf, then you go ahead and do that, because I think right now we should do what on earth we want, as long as we're staying at home. And I have to say, crafting's been my saviour, staying at home. I've got colleagues that we had a bingo catch up last night, which was quite fun. So in the bingo catch up, there were so many people that are bored, and I think a lot of it is that people don't have hobbies. And if you haven't got a hobby because you're generally too busy, what do you do? So yeah, I'm going to craft away. But I did think as well, for obviously my all dental practices are closed currently, so when they're all going to open, I thought I'm going to, hey, lined it up right, how exciting. Sorry, I shouldn't get so excited that I lined it up right, should I? But hey, I feel I've achieved. Today is complete. I lined up my detail over the leaf. Oh, twice in a row. Winning today. So yeah, so when dental practices, when it's announced that they can get back open again, I thought I'm going to have a whole load of welcome back kind of cards ready for my customers, so to remind them that I'm still here and I want to still speak to them. So I thought that's not a problem, is it? I've got plenty of time to make 50 odd cards. I'm not going to make 150 for all of them, but some of my top ones are certainly going to have a little card. So again, the hello friend, taking the corner punch. Might be punching this the other way around, but again, doesn't matter. Just quite like having the two different corners, makes it a little bit different. Get rid of my little bits there. So this time we're going to put it onto that base, which I think I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz as the base. So making sure that you use, that's the same side I used for one I did earlier. So yeah, make sure you don't use your sponge that you've just put your Night of Navy on if you're going to create another colour. And generally, if you're holding the paper, make sure your hands are clean as well, because the last thing you want to do after creating a beautiful card is stick a great big fingerprint in it, and I can tell you that from experience. Hey Pam! Hope you're well. Good to see you. So again, just going around the edge, keeping the colour on the sponge. And just literally covering around the edge. There's no reason why you couldn't do it deeper. Again, I'm just hoping that you can take some inspiration from what I'm doing and go away and craft something, and you can do your own version of it. That's the joy of crafting. And what I'd love to see, if you do anything or create anything from any of my Facebook Lives and I've inspired you, then share it on my page, because it's fantastic to know that you've made a difference. So number 2, and the flower is exactly the same. If I knew what I'd done with the first one. Oh no, oh look, if you remember what you're doing. So again, you know, whilst it's the same card, I think the background colours really do make the difference there, but I'm sticking to exactly the same 3 colours. I'm not varying that. So we'll then just have a look at how it looks on the navy. And again, the brilliant thing is we're all set up on the Stamparatus, so we know this is going to work. Provided, yes, look, my little bit of cards there. So again, I've marked the paper, because of course, I mean, it didn't line up with a grid, did it? You know, if someone was really clever, you could line it up with the grid, I guess. But I didn't. So I've just created the lines there. And again, just doing my layers exactly the same way. Stamparatus is set up, so it's going to come out exactly the same. I just think it makes crafting so much easier, and particularly if you're a beginner, because I certainly know stamping images can get a little bit messy at the start. It takes a lot of practice with your little tap tap taps. And the other thing is if for any reason that image didn't come out quite as I wanted it, I can go back in and do it again, and it's in exactly the same place, so I know I'm going to get exactly the same stamp. And again, I don't want the first generation image, so I'm just going to stamp off that first generation, and then the second generation just gives me a lighter colour, so I just think it gives a better image, but I mean, you know, play around with yourselves. And I think if obviously I'm using a Regal, which is quite a dark colour, if you were using a subtle, you might want to leave it. I mean, the other thing is obviously I'm using one ink colour for the whole flower, but nothing says that you can't use multiple colours, and that's the joy of the Stamparatus as well, is you can just keep playing with all different colours of ink and see what your preference is. So back in with my leaves. As I say, the Stamparatus does come with 2 of the plates, so you can use 4 sides of that. So just stamping that down, moving that out of the way, sorry, just keep whacking me light, and then just removing that from that plate. These are really strong magnets, do keep them apart. Then my leaf detail. Let's see if I can get as excited as I did. Can I line it up correctly? I mean, literally I'm just doing it visually, but can you imagine doing that whole flower visually? Almost. It's like a little challenge now, isn't it? Can I line it up correctly? Oh, just love that kind of vein being added to that. Oh, I've got a little something on there, don't know what that is. It's not from Messy Hands though, so that's good. So again, we just want a little hello friend. And I've sent quite a few cards out to people since we've been in lockdown, and you know, everyone sends you a message and absolutely loves receiving a handmade card. So if it's not absolutely perfect, that's not what they're thinking about. They're just absolutely loving that you're thinking about them and that you've made something for them as well. Oops a daisy, that caused a, oh, use the right one. So we just want a circle, and again, there's no reason why you couldn't do all 4 edges or all corners or all with a little bit of detail, entirely up to you. And then on the last card, I'm gonna use not pear pizzazz, I'm gonna use pumpkin pie, and make sure that I use a clean set of, or a clean side to the sponge. Obviously the sponge has multiple sides, and every so often I just throw them all in the washing machine on a quick wash, just to get no ink out. Then even if they're stained, I know that they're actually clean. So just brushing that around the edge, just a really nice little effect that I personally think just makes the card pop a little bit. So let's just pop some snail on the back there. Disaster averted by actually checking that my card was the right way round. Didn't check on the other ones, hopefully they're the right way round. So that's that one. So from that, I don't know how long, kind of half an hour-ish. So, you know, I think the cards using exactly the same colours do look quite different on the different backgrounds, and I've used different colours to highlight that, but essentially the flower is exactly the same shade and the leaves are exactly the same. So hopefully that's given you a bit of inspiration, and hopefully I'll see you again. I shall be live tomorrow. I'm not sure what time at the moment. I will put a message on my Facebook page, so look out for the message as to what time I will be live tomorrow. So thanks very much for watching, and see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.